Hi, I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and welcome to this episode of Ask Dave. We're looking into antennas, and this I hope will be the year of the antenna. And I've gotten an MFJ 1788, which is a loop antenna, and it's 40 through 15 meters, a very compact device. And so I'm going to set it up and compare it directly to the vertical. The first thing I need to do is get an old coax switch working properly. This is something I made from a Heathkit probably 41, 42 years ago. It's been a long time. And I'm going to clean it by taking it apart using Deoxit, putting it back together, so it'll be ready so that I can do a very easy A-B test between the two antennas using my radio. Now you may wonder, since this radio will switch between three antennas, why am I doing this? And the answer is that the radio tends to memorize settings based on which antenna it's using. So I want to just take that completely out of the equation and be able to switch back and forth. I won't be using the antenna tuner that's in the radio because my vertical is in very good tune, and also because I want to just switch back and forth without a tuner, see how the two do. So let's get this coax cleaned up here, this coax switch cleaned up here after 40 years of sitting and gathering dust, and then after we do that, the next video we'll get everything set up for the test. So you're going to see a series of quick videos here, and we're about to test the MFJ 1788 loop antenna, and to do that I'm going to use this coax switch. And the way it's going to work is I'll connect the coax from the transmitter here and then to my regular antenna here and to my the new MFJ antenna there. That way I can just switch between the antennas like this and do a very nice real-time comparison between the two. Now, one of the problems is that I have not used this switch in many years, so I'm going to clean it out. Now, I've already removed the bottom plate, and you can see inside that there's this great big switch. And what this switch does is it grounds the antennas that are not being used. Well, that's nice. But this movable part here, like I said, hasn't been used, so I'm going to use some Deoxit to clean it. Now this side right here does the grounding. The other side does the actual switching. So I'm going to need to remove the top part here too. You'll note this thing is built in a million pieces with a million screws. It took quite a while for me to construct, but this thing has got to be 40 years old at least. So we'll take this top off and then we'll use some Deoxit. Well, we've loosened it. There we go. Okay, the knob off. That needs to come off in the center. You're taking that off. And there's a washer. Okay, very good. Now we need to take the top off here. Well, I'm going to have to go out and get the proper tool. Okay. Let's see, that's a little better. That's a little better fit there. Let's see what happens. Oh, very good. Very good. I use all the pill bottles to hold the parts from deconstructing something, and then put the cap on it. That way, if the cats get up here, they're not going to send the parts all over the carpet. which is very something they very well might do. You might do the same if you have children or grandchildren and you're taking these things down. Now, sometimes when you take things apart, you get different sizes of screws. It might be a good idea to keep track of sizes and so on. In this case, they're all the same size. They're typical Heathkit screws. They're kind of flat on the top a little bit with rounded corners. Okay, last screw. Take this off. Here's the top of the wafer. Okay, and we can't see what's down inside. Now if I were to take that screw and that screw off, it would come through onto this side. And the problem is, those are the screws that hold the switch together. And I don't know that I want to wreck those. So we're just going to squirt into it here and here. Now the first thing we're going to do is put this knob back on. Now this is a round shaft. There's no indentation or anything. I'm just going to put it in a random place here. Okay, we get our Deoxit. This is our Deoxit D5. Okay. And we're going to spray a little bit. Deoxit D5. Okay, we're going to spray here. Okay, and we're going to spray in here. Okay, now with that stuff everywhere, let's turn this. Obviously need a different screwdriver. Okay, let's go look for something. There's nothing like having the right tool, and believe me, this is nothing like having the right tool. Okay. Now we had to wait a minute or two there, so let's put a titch more on. Now wiping it back and forth in some instances may help, but in this case, wow, it suddenly got a whole bunch easier to turn. Wow. Well, I'll tell you, that Deoxit just cleaned that up in a hurry. Okay, so what we're going to do is set this thing down here to dry for several minutes. I'm just going to continue to work it. Oh boy, it almost feels like a new switch. We'll let it dry a little bit more. Okay, it's dry enough for us now. We're going to put the cover back on. The bottom cover doesn't matter where it goes on because it's just covering the bottom. That's not true, the top cover. And you can see the Heathkit. Looks like an HD 123404 with the serial number of 71321. Let's put it together. We've got the screws in here. Tighten the screws till you've got them all started. Okay, now this one, we're first going to need to remove the knob. Okay, this is the ground. We're going to put ground over here. You can see ground right there. It's a G for ground. And then over here is C for common. This is the input right here. So, let's put it this way with the ground there. I think we've got it. Okay, now the question is, in which direction does the knob go? Okay, here's how we're going to determine that. Got an inexpensive little VOM that we're going to use to test for continuity. Okay, now here's the common. I'll stick that on the interior. And let's see which one it's pointed at. Is it pointed over here? Looks like it. Is it pointed over here? Nope. 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 It's pointed at number 1. Okay. So we're going to just put this on here. Pointed at number 1. There. And boy, that is really easy to turn compared with what it was. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit. Now, we're done with this. Okay, we have a very nice clean switching. We can switch between cables. Again, we're going to connect this to my FTDX 3000 right there, and we're going to put the one antenna there and the other antenna there. Okay, and this will be the existing vertical. It's a very nice antenna, I'm very pleased with. And then this will be the antenna under test. The next antenna under test will be the MFJ 1788, which is a vertical antenna that goes from 40 through 15 meters. It's a loop, and we'll see how that works. And there we go. That's it. I'm going to let it dry for quite a bit. Okie doke. Well, we're about finished with this particular video, so I'm going to let the thing dry for quite a while here so that all that deoxit has a chance to get out. And they warn you to do that because the deoxit itself is kind of flammable. And then I'll set everything up. The next video will show how I'm set up for the test, how I put a mask together, and so on. I'm using very inexpensive materials and set up a temporary mask for testing and testing against my vertical. So, see you next time. In the meantime, please click like, please subscribe, please check out the tip jar, please check out my Patreon page, and have a wonderful week. 73.